Hi everyone, I just thought I'd do a quick reading from TheOrangeGrove today, and the scene that I've chosen is where my characters go on a picnic together in the countryside, and things get a little bit tense between the women. So I'll start reading now. The Duchess arranged herself on a large cushion, shaded by the canopy above. She sat with her legs folded to the side and flipped out her fan. "Sit here, Henriette," Charlotte pointed to a neighbouring cushion. Henriette obliged, and the rest of the women found their seats. Céline pushed past Isabel to secure the other cushion next to the Duchess, and Laetitia sat next to Henriette, ignoring glares from the Duchess. The women donned their sun hats as beams of light penetrated the foliage. Laetitia picked a wildflower and twirled it between her fingers as the grass rustled in the breeze. Yolande and the other servants unpacked the picnic entree, covering each dish with netting. Céline launched into a discussion with the Duchess about dresses and town gossip. A comtesse had seduced her manservant behind the changing curtain at the tailor's whilst her dress was being pinned. Céline's voice lowered to a near whisper so that only the Duchess could hear. Charlotte let out a shriek of laughter, turning her back to Henriette and Laetitia. "We can't hear you, Céline," Henriette said. "Can you please speak up? The rest of us may have something to contribute." "We're discussing the financial ruin of the Comte Perrot," Céline said peevishly. "He's about to lose his farm and his land. You may know more, but I very much doubt Laetitia will have anything useful to add. She's not even from these parts." The Duchess turned her cool gaze on Laetitia. "Perhaps you're right, Céline. Yet I do believe Laetitia knows quite a lot about financial ruin. Her father lost everything, after all. Well, not everything. He managed to save some of his fortune by selling off his only daughter. What love and affection." The two women raised their fans, their shoulders quaking with laughter. Henriette stiffened and opened her mouth to speak when Laetitia squeezed her fingers and shook her head. "My father made the error of trusting a long-time friend with the investment of his money. People make mistakes. Whether a woman is a mistress or a wife, both unions resemble an exchange of sorts. I'm sure the Duke would have benefited from your dowry, if not from the joy of your presence." A collective intake of breath followed Laetitia's remark. The hum of the cicadas and the drone of the bees accentuated the sudden silence. The Duchess lifted the netting from a platter and withdrew a cylinder of ham. She took a small bite and chewed, as if lost in thought. The ice of her gaze swung to Laetitia, and the girl sucked in her breath. "Interesting idea. The sanctity of marriage compared to the life of a mistress. Ladies, you have a certain position at the chateau and are respected and appreciated. You all know this. But do you really consider your position to be equivalent to marriage?" Isabel winced, cutting herself a generous slice of chocolate cake. She bit into it, and her cheeks bulged as she ate, her eyes wide, darting left and right. "We all dream of having a position like yours, Charlotte," Céline said in a gentle voice. "However, there are lamentably only a limited number of dukes. To be married is to have a deeper relationship and stronger commitment. It is far more significant than the mercenary alliance of a man with his mistress. The relationships are not the same, and to suggest such a thing is to denigrate your illustrious title. Apologise, Laetitia." Laetitia's mouth formed a hard line as she met the Duchess's eye. "I'm sorry if my observations upset you." "It might be a good idea to keep your observations to yourself. You would do well to remember your position, otherwise there are always vacancies in the kitchen." Laetitia forced a smile. "Goodness, if I were to help out down there, you might all be poisoned. I haven't a clue about food preparation." "You would just have to learn." Henriette sighed. "Come, Charlotte, a girl of Laetitia's station can't possibly work as a servant. I think it's time for the main dishes. Yolande, Regal, can you please assist?" Charlotte flashed, her lips pressed together. Eloise and Isabel stared at Henriette, open-mouthed. There was a flurry of movement as the servants uncovered the dishes and placed extra platters of cold meats, fruit, salmon and other delicacies on the rug. They served the luncheon on china plates and distributed them among the women. Isabel devoured her food in haste, as if worried tension might erupt once more and disturb her digestion. The Duchess gossiped with Eloise and Celine, her hands fluttering as she told a story. Yolande hovered, ready to pass platters and wave away bees. The sun rose higher in the sky, and the heat shimmered over the grass. "Bravo, Letitia," Henriette whispered. "You were brave, but be careful. It's a fine line between defending yourself and landing in trouble. Charlotte places people in one of two camps. You're either an ally to be trusted or an enemy to be defeated. There is no way to earn favour in a situation like this. Just ignore her rudeness. If there is something to be said, let me say it. She's cross with me now, but I know how to placate her. She's a bully. You know, in my village, the priest was a bully. Those who didn't attend Mass were cornered by him in the street. He had a shrill voice, and he would lecture them about eternal damnation and the devil's fire pits. The flames were higher for those who never received the sacrament. If they had sinned, then there was no hope." Henriette smiled. "Were you one of his targets?" "I was. I spent too many Sundays climbing trees, picking lavender, or riding my horse. I wasn't very interested in the salvation of my soul, so I told him that I didn't have a soul, that I was a vampire." "Good heavens, what happened?" "As the priest attempted to ruin my reputation by preaching about my evil ways, my father searched for somewhere to send me, be it a man or a convent. Then my father lost his fortune. My poor parents." Letitia fidgeted, plucking the petals from a daisy as she caught her friend's eye. "I hope you still think well of me." "Of course. It might be a good idea to at least pretend to be demure and humble, though. Do you think you can manage it?" "I will try." Thank you. That's all for now.